1998, Canon released the 35mm f1.4L.
Now the design of this has got 11 elements in 10 groups. Ooh, wow. That's special, isn't it? One spherical element.
A mere 17 years later, and we have this, the sequel.
So what's new with the 2? Well, it's bigger, it's heavier, and it costs quite a bit more at $1,800 versus $1,100 for the old one.
Yes, that's quite a bit more stuff, but those are all bad things, aren't they, right?
There's new stuff that isn't totally negative. Well, not all of them anyway. The new lens has got 14 elements versus 11 elements of the old one. And 2 of those elements are spherical versus 1 of the old. And an UD element. So that's why it's heavier. And more expensive. Probably. Well, that and the fact that Canon are cheeky bastards. I have to say it's a bloody miserable day taking photos. Okay, so what are we doing today with the 35mm f1.4L2? Well, we've done Hadouken photography, we've done time-lapse and hyperlapse, and we're kind of combining all of that, the photo geekery, with the video game geekery. It's Street Fighter stuff again, but instead of Hadouken, we're doing the Hurricane Kick, which is, if you play the game, it's the Tox-Slox-Nex-Nex-Nok Baruka Ken, where he spins around. Yeah, I've always wanted to do that. In real life. It's kind of like that. And I'm dressed like Ken as well. It's the redness. Just missing the blonde hair. But it's kind of like Ken on his day off from fighting evil crime lords. Okay, let's set up for the first shot. Yes, I must explain that why we're doing time-lapse to do this. It's because I can't actually do the Hurricane Kick in real life. So to do a simple time-lapse, what do you need? A tripod, camera, lens, memory card, hot drink, and of course this is the 5D Mark III, so you need the TC80N3, which is somewhere else. Yes. And they didn't put interval shooting on the 5D Mark III, so...
Never mind about the remote, we'll work something out.
Okay, so that's set up for the composition. Composition is... oh, lips are cold, I can't say stuff. Now, everything on manual. Manual exposure, manual focus, instruction manual, and... oh, your manual white balance. And then the shutter speed. You want something a little bit slower, kind of blur the motion a bit to make it a bit smoother, otherwise everything looks a bit jittery. Is that a real word? I'll check the dictionary when I get home.
The idea is similar to the hyperlapse thing that we did, where I jump around for more than is necessary, only that the camera's not moved. Only I do. Autofocus, by the way, is super quick and super silent.
That's focused for over there. Short distance, so I can do both. I can put on a 2-second timer and go over there. Watch this. Shit.
This 2-second timer could be a bit problematic.
Just 2 seconds. Oh man. Snotting all over myself. My cardigan sleeve. Screw you, Canon, and your TC-80N3. Ah. Oh, shit. Bastard tissue. Ah, son of a bitch of a tissue. So the new lens has got more stuff inside which means better in theory. You've got two spherical, one UD, but within two of those elements, you've got BR optics, which is blue organic substance stuff. It's kind of like a, well, as I said, it's an organic substance filled inside the lens, which is supposed to be good for stopping all that chromatic aberration, colour fringing shit.
The substance itself isn't actually blue. It is some organic stuff though, squeezed in between two optical layers. What it does is it refracts blue light, which basically reduces colour fringing. Nice. Those pics didn't work out quite so well because of all the leaves moving in between the shots, and the fact I'm too close to the camera. Next location.
So there will be things like spherochromatism, like when you focus on something wide open and the blurry bits in the front and at the back, you can see that they're slightly purple or green. That's spherochromatism. This will be much better with that, in that you won't see it thanks to the organic substance inside. Ugh. That's not bad. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, crotch. Ugh. 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 Somebody's going to hear this noise, right? And they're going to think, oh, who's doing a bit of hanky-panky in a park? Just going to see me. And that looks pretty nice.
It does perform really well wide open. You get a more even spread of sharpness all across the frame. At f1.4 it looks really good. You find it's a little bit better than the old version when it comes to the edges. At f2.8 it's immensely sharp, sharper than the 35mm f2 at f2.8.
This lens is good, but so is the old one. I mean, it might be subtly different. In the edges, slightly sharper than the old one. But when you're paying almost double, is it really worth it? And when we're talking about the colour fringing, it's nice to get rid of it, but to be honest, it wasn't exactly pronounced with the old one.
Optically, it is quite a stunner of a lens, super low on distortion and superb sharpness. The f1.4 makes it good for low light, but the bokeh here is just alright. Not amazing, just okay. Those dark spots are rain on lens, by the way. The 9 curved blades give you round balls up to f4. Nice.
The great thing about pavements is that you've got lines, so I can figure out where exactly I'm going to be standing. I'm going to be standing over there.
Even though the weather's crap, I want to give it one more go. Partly because I love this lens, but mostly because of my ego. So, 17 years later, the sequel is, well, noticeably improved. It is a mighty fine lens with optics that are quite hard to beat, and that blue organic stuff works a treat. But this is a pretty impressive lens that carries quite an immense price tag. If money was no object, then you really don't need to think twice. But when the first version still does a respectable job for quite a bit less, the decision is not quite so obvious.
Don't care about lens. I'm going home for a cup of tea and some biscuits. So anyway, the lens has got 14 elements over the 11 elements, 2 spherical, 1 UD element. Should be better performance. I can't speak because my lips are numb. Should be better, should be... Oh, shut up, watch. Piss off on your activity. I'm doing lots of activities, so fuck off. 14 elements versus 11 elements, so therefore with more elements. Elements. So the new lens